Everyone, it's Greg, and it's another edition of Unbreakable Spirits. It is Thursday, July 27th, 2023. Um, it's supposed to be another hot one. The next 3 days here in Pennsylvania, brutal. But better weather is ahead starting on Sunday. Got my Eagles gear on. As you can see, Eagles started training camp yesterday. Football season isn't that far away. Um, the main story I want to talk about today, I don't know if you've heard about this yesterday or not. It's a little disturbing. And this story surprisingly was buried yesterday. We had a lot of political stories going on yesterday, which is nothing unusual. But this story, I think, should have gotten more publicity than it has gotten. Um, I don't know if you know it or not, but they had a congressional House subcommittee meeting yesterday in regards to UFOs. Now they're calling them UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. UFOs weren't good enough. They had to change it. Anyway, they had this three guys up there testifying on Capitol Hill. The one guy, his name is David Grush, and he is a former U.S. intelligence officer. Now, remember, these guys were under oath. Uh, they're under oath up there, and they're talking about UAPs and the fact that they feel that our government is hiding things. Well, this has been going on for a long time. I remember when I was growing up, there was a government thing called Project Blue Book, where the Air Force wanted to investigate flying objects. And of course, every time they investigated, nothing came of it. It was just weather balloons in the air or lights or what have you. So these guys want it known that they are testifying that the government knows more about UFOs or UAPs than what they're letting on. That there is evidence, even though they didn't show any, of not only crashed alien aircraft, but dead bodies of aliens themselves that the government has possession of. So this is a little bit flaky, but it's possible. I mean, the Pentagon, they testified on this subject last year, and they did leave the possibility. They said there was no evidence of UAPs, but they left the door open for the possibility that the cases that they can't explain uh, could be extraterrestrial. They just let it out there. Well, anyway, these guys are following up the ball. A Navy pilot, another pilot, and this guy used to work for the Intel. He was an officer, uh, and I don't know what to think about it. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Um, First of all, I got to say, they always said, well, if we're ever visited by aliens, ET or whatever, they would be much smarter than we are because they have the capabilities of transporting light years and going from galaxy to galaxy, solar system to solar system, and exploring around. We don't have that capability right now. We're just visiting the moon and Mars and neighbors. But I don't know. I don't know how smart these aliens are, though. I mean, I'm thinking, why are they coming here? Why are they investigating us? And you never see anything. I remember the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still with Michael Rennie. It was one of these 1950 sci-fi classics where a flying saucer hovers over Washington, D.C., and eventually lands in the Capitol. And this guy gets out, and he uh, it was just a weird story. He mingles around the regular people. He assimilates. I don't know. It's just I think, why are they here, right? I mean, what are they doing here? Number one, they can't be that smart if they crashed their flying saucer or whatever you call it, right? Were they drinking and driving? I don't know. And number two, uh, you know, why are they here? I just don't get it. Uh, Now, I'm not saying it can't be true, because who are we to say that we are the only life form in the universe, right? That would be pretty arrogant of us to say that. Um, but by the same token, uh, you would have thought that they would have introduced themselves by now, whether they were friendly or not friendly. So these guys who testified yesterday on Capitol Hill, they didn't really have evidence, like actual documentation, paperwork that could give to these lawmakers to say, yes, here's where the crash occurred, and we're holding the dead bodies of the aliens here. Come and take a look. Uh, they didn't have that. They claimed that a lot of this stuff is classified, and the government doesn't want to upset the people by telling them all this. So again, no real evidence, but what they decided out of all this was they were going to look into it further. So it's probably not the last that we heard about this alien stuff. So buckle up, and who knows what will happen. By the way, instead of calling these creatures, or Martians, or wherever they came from, these government guys are calling them non-human biologics. Non-human biologics. So there you have it. So can you imagine? Remember that old TV show, My Favorite Martian, back in the 50s or 60s? If it was now, they'd call it My Favorite Non-Human Biologic, whatever. Uh, and here's a story that caught my attention. Did you know? I didn't know this. This is amazing. That in South Korea, uh, they start their ages like, when you're born, right? You start at zero, and then you've been in the world a year, so your age is one, right? That's the way it is all around the world. uh, Not in South Korea. In South Korea, they used to start their ages as soon as a baby was born. He's one already, or she's one already, and it starts from there. So naturally, everybody in South Korea is going to be a year older than everybody else in the world. I never knew that. I think maybe they're the only country that did it. Anyway, what they've decided to do recently is they're going to join the world. They're joining the crowd and saying, no, we're not doing it that way anymore. We're starting at zero like everybody else. So the South Koreans are happy about this, because they feel that they're a year or two younger than what they really are. So not really. I mean, their body and their mind is still that of, let's say, a 40-year-old, but just the age goes back to 39. So nothing else really changes. But maybe it makes them feel better, emotionally and mentally, that, hey, I'm getting younger. Although, here's the thing, it's not across the board. There are certain aspects to life in South Korea where that age stays. So, in other words, if you're buying alcohol you've turned 18 or 21. That's still is the age, the old age stays. But for other aspects of South Korean life, the international age, as they call it, kicks in. So, I mean, one day, South Korea could be 40, another day it could be 39. It's flexible. I like that. I wish take 20 years off of it. Why take a year? Chop 20 years off of it. So I could be 46 again. You know? Anyway. Oh, and did you hear about this? In Los Angeles, these naturalists, they call themselves naturalists, were hiking in the hills in LA, and right near a freeway and a Starbucks, they found a very new species of millipede out there. In fact, they named it the Los Angeles thread millipede, and it's brand new. They were just hiking. They looked down. They saw this little thing on a rock. They put it under a microscope, and there it was. Apparently, it's only 4 inches long, and it's about the width of a pencil. So, and the poor thing is blind. It lives in cracks of rocks, and it's got 2 antennas, and it's got like a horn shape, like a helmet shaped head. So it's like it kind of ties into maybe it is the alien. Maybe that's the aliens that they're talking about. These little centipedes. Who knows? But apparently these guys have been around a long, long time. Oh, by the way, they have 486 legs. They've counted each leg. So they put them under the microscope. They've counted the legs, 486. Yet that millipede is not the top leg guy. The top leg guy is another species of millipede that has something like over 700 legs, just so you know. What does this millipede do? It feeds on dead organic material, sort of like the burgers at Wendy's or Burger King. I don't anyway, and they say this is good because if these millipedes didn't eat this dead stuff hanging around under our feet, we would be up to our necks, literally in dead material. And who wants that? I don't think it sounds very good. So these millipedes do a good job of in our world, and they said, it's very interesting. We always talk about space, which we just did, about exploring space. That we're only at the cusp of what we can explore in space, and the oceans, our own oceans. We know that only a fraction of our oceans have been explored. But they're also saying that what's in our ground is these little millipedes. They dig holes in the ground, and they live down there with the rocks and everything. They said they estimate that there are up to 10 million animal species on Earth. And so far, we've only identified 1 million. So there's nine other million species running around that we don't know what they are. They're just here. And we got to identify them, and we got to, learn more about them, and invite them over for coffee or something. To get to know you an arthropod, whatever. They're millipedes, they're bugs. So the thing is, don't step on them because they do good for the earth, and they're discovering new ones every day. So, as we can say, I find the UFO story much more interesting. And, I'm hoping to find out more. I think what they ought to do between you and I is hire William Shatner to take care of this UFO thing. I mean, he's been through it already. He's been to how many galaxies, and he could do the job. He's in his 90s, I understand that, but he's still going strong. You see Shatner on commercials, he's doing records. In fact, what was it, a year or two ago? They shot him up into space there for like 3 minutes and he came back. Um, so to me, if you wanted to get to the bottom of this UAP, UPA, ESPN, NFL thing, just hire William Shatner. He's already what, a commander, Commander Kirk. All right, so promote him to become a general. Hire him, get him in the government, and he could take over here. And if there are creatures out there, non-human biologics or whatever, Shatner's the guy who can communicate with them. Live long and prosper. I can never do that finger thing, what Dr. Spock used to do, Mr. Spock, Dr. Spock, something like this. I don't know. Anyway, so that's my recommendation for our country and our world. Hire William Shatner to take over. Anyway, that's today's program. Aren't you glad you tuned in? See what you learned. So, as always, hit subscribe and like, whatever, to make sure you don't miss an episode. And tell your friends to watch. It's only 10, 15 minutes a day. I mean, come on. What else would you be doing? So just tune in and we'll talk about more crap tomorrow, whatever I can find, okay? So you guys have a great day and keep cool out there. Take care and I'll see you later. And peace and live long and prosper. I don't want to put up the wrong finger of that. That's not good. All right. Take care for now. Bye-bye.